Have you ever lived in a home where a father exists, but you do not feel his presence, either emotionally or psychologically? Have you ever lived in a home where a father is present, but his influence is not felt? Or are you a wife and you feel like emotionally you are disconnected from your husband? He is present, but he lives like he's a visitor. Have you ever experienced when you have a husband who provides school fees, who provides food, and literally he is not there? Emotionally, he is not connected. Where he thinks like his responsibility stops at providing food, school fees. He's not involved in the life of the children in terms of disciplinary actions. He does not school his children. He does not train them in whatsoever way. Well, that is because the inherent purpose of a man is fatherhood. So if he does not apply, if he's not involved in certain activities in a home, then fatherhood is lacking. Men are called to be fathers, and their influence is not only in their family, in their homes, but the society at large, whether physical, biological, or in a broader sense. Hi, my name is Stella Luca. From the title of this video, you can already tell what it is that we are going to talk about. The impact of fatherhood in our society is very crucial. Otherwise, we are damaging humanity. I like the way how Dr. Miles Monroe puts it. He says, a bad father will always make a bad husband, and a bad husband makes a woman suffer twice, because you serve as a man, as a husband. You should be able to father your wife and at the same time be a husband to her. So if you are both a bad father and a bad husband, then you make your wife suffer twice. And the impact of the absence of a father leads to an angry woman, an angry wife, and an angry mother. An angry mother will always give a negative image to her children, both her daughters and her sons. To the daughters, they become hard-headed, and sometimes people perceive them to be stubborn and disrespectful to a male figure. And the impact of that negativity from the angry mother makes a son mute. And when a son is mute, that means they keep their emotion inside. They do not make decisions. They are indecisive, do not know how to give love. And the cycle of dysfunction continues. I put out a post on Friday saying that the focus on women empowerment is good, but we shouldn't forget about the men, because that is the root cause of dysfunction. That's the only way we can restore a better humanity. By the time you see this video, it could probably be end of June or beginning of July. And the intention is to empower men as fathers and role models in the society, to also ensure that we cater for some of the skills that is required in order to better homes, society, and humanity at large. I am so passionate about family, relationship dynamics, and life lessons. I know that one day my sons will listen to this. Might not be there by then, but it will help them understand what I think, how I used to say things, even as a female, so that they will pick. Men are stubborn. Sometimes because of the ego that they have, it is difficult to school them. And sometimes if you're directly trying to teach a man, they might not pick it unless they want to. If 1 or 2 people view this video and they learn from it, even if it was 1 person that learns from it, and it happens to impact their family, changes them, then I will be happy for myself. According to the perspective of Dr. Miles Monroe, men must master the skill of fatherhood, exhibiting leadership, integrity, responsibility, and obedience to God. Now, if a man could just pick these key points, then that man is bound to be a better father and a better husband. Lack of this will always have an impact on the family, starting from the wife down to the children and the society and the community at large. You will ask me how? Let me break it down further. The first thing is, a bad father and a husband to a wife would do the following. Angry mothers and hard-headed ladies, girls, daughters in the community. When a father is absent or emotionally disconnected, the responsibility of parenting is always placed on the mothers, which sometimes leads to frustration and anger, because as women, we are not built to take care of the role of a man. We are supposed to support. Now, when you become the leader, then you do not operate rightfully, because that is not your role. That is not your God-given role. So definitely you begin to malfunction. And when you malfunction, the result will be seen in how emotionally you are damaged, how you portray yourself, how you develop this outburst, resentment. You are quarrelsome in a home. You detest probably the relatives of your husband. You just hate everything. Why? Because you are not nurtured. You are not being treated the way you are supposed to be treated. Let me use this analogy. For instance, you have a car and it uses fuel to operate, but you don't put fuel in it. You rather put water. When the car moves, it will not move definitely. I know you can put water in the vibrator and the cooler and all that, but that is not for it to move from one place to the other. So when you do not treat a woman well, a mother well, a wife well, she begins to malfunction, and everybody in that home, the community and the society will feel it. Have you ever found these women who are just angry? They have this bitterness. Even their bitterness can be seen in their daughters. These negative people. Somebody recently shocked me. I never expected the reaction that I received from her. And she's a very young lady. She's not yet married. And she has, I think, recently even completed school. But the reaction that I received from her shocked me. For the first time, I've realized that she's full of anger. She has this bitterness that is oozing out of her. That when she's placed under pressure, she just goes wild. So these are some of the things that happen to us when we are not being treated the right way that we should. Same thing happens to a wife and a mother. If a father is absent and transfers all his responsibility on that woman, definitely some things will happen. Another thing is that the daughters will observe how their mothers operate, and they will pick that habit. And even as they grow up into adulthood, they will always portray, it will be seen that she did not grow in a home, but rather a house. The home changes. There is a difference between a home and a house. A house is where there is chaos. There is no order. Everybody says there is cursing and all. That's a house. A home where there is peace, it is serene, it's welcoming. Yeah, that is a home. So you will always see the difference from the children when they come to a public. The way you see them, the language they use, the way they express themselves is based on how they are in their house. So that's the first one, the impact of lack of fatherhood in a home and a community. The second one, you have to pardon my language, but raising dumb men. When I say dumb men, this is what I mean. Without a father's guidance, boys will always lack essential life skill and decision-making abilities. How? Because their mother yells. There are women who would even go to the extent of saying, "You remind me of your father, you behave like your father." That silenced that boy. He stores his emotion inside. He does not want to do anything for the fear of being insulted by the mother, for the fear of annoying the mother, for the fear of disappointing their mother. The mother is always thinking for them, deciding for them what kind of girlfriends they should have, or what kind of clothes they should wear, where they should go, the kind of friends that they should have. The boys become dumb. I've said it, unfortunately. So at this point, I would like you to reflect on yourself as a man, as a young man, as a youth, as a husband. Do you sometimes hear your wife saying you behave like a high school child? Do you sometimes hear your wife saying you don't behave like a man? You are big for nothing. It's because she does not feel you. She does not feel your role as a man. You have become a dummy. You don't make decision. You don't even, when you make a decision, it is childish. And you are not proactive in doing certain things. You do not follow up on things. For instance, if you say you are going to do A, B, C, D, in most cases you do not. When you just get a hiccup, you pause and you cannot proceed. You don't even give feedback unless somebody follows you up and says, "You said you're going to do this thing. What happened? Why is it that this thing is not done?" You get? So you become a dummy. A man becomes a dummy. A boy becomes a dummy. As they grow into adulthood, they will still have that fear of not expressing themselves, of not taking decisions because somebody has always done it for them. Another thing is that out of a mother's love, they will overprotect their sons. They hinder their son's independence. So the son completely rely and depends on their mothers. Even when they get married, they do not stand on their own. They still have that dependence on their partners. Their partners now take lead and they hide behind their partners. Why? Because their mothers overprotected them from harm and they got so used to it and they cannot now do things independently. The third point is the cycle of mothering men. Have you ever felt like there are these men who want to be pampered? Instead of them pampering their wives, they work in a reverse. They are forever babies. They want to be taken care of without them reciprocating back the love. They are used to being given, but they cannot give back. Have you ever seen them? If you have seen them and you know them, and I know you will not say that to yourself, but probably there are people who are listening to me right now and they feel like they have seen or they are even living with men who are like that. Comment below. Okay, don't comment because they will know who or why you are doing that. So mothers who continue to baby their sons even into adulthood, they perpetuate that cycle. When your son gets married, your son lacks that ability of fatherhood. That cycle will continue. As I was listening to Dr. Miles Monroe, he said that the legacy of a man is imprinted in his seed. A bad man will continue to give birth to that bad son. History is reborn and the cycle continues. So you see, it is very important for us to start focusing on how to empower our men. This Father Day, we have empowered the women. It is very good and we should not stop. We should continue to empower women. But it is important that as women, we also come out. As mothers, we listen, we understand, we read, we acquire this knowledge so that we be able to train our sons not to become the way their fathers have been. So stop babying your sons into adulthood. Let your sons make their own decision because times have changed. Now things are done different from the way you were when you were raising them. So step aside. Let him learn how to make his own mistakes and correct. The other day, one of my sisters was having a problem in her marriage and family member was involved. And one of my aunties said, call me so that we can. I said, no, step aside. Let this girl learn how to take care of her business. If she fails and she feels like she needs help, she will find one of the persons that she thinks can help her. Not that there is a problem and everybody is interfering with that marriage. Step aside. Let people sort out their problem. That way, they will learn to grow. The best way to learn, the best way to grow is when we make mistakes. So as mothers, you need to, have this skill, have this knowledge that you have to step away from the life of your son so that they can do things. I am surprised when I hear a full-grown man being mothered by their mother. I find it so difficult when a mother is involved in the life of their sons and their daughters. Step aside. Leave them to handle their things by themselves. Because if you do that, you are spoiling the generation because you are continuing that bad cycle. Your husband must have been a bad man, did a bad thing to you, but please take it upon yourself to say, I'm not going to allow this continue. It will stop with me. Hinder it. That is why you are a mother. Stand there and say, no, let it not go. And you as a man, stop doing bad things to your wives because the impact of the way you do things, the impact of your behavior does not only affect your wife and your children, it affects generation. So we need to start reorganizing ourselves. A man should take responsibility of fatherhood and a woman take your responsibility. So with these 3 points, what do we do to rectify all these things? Let me break it further more. And all the fathers, please come. Let's break this thing together. Until you take the Bible, if you're a Christian, until you tell yourself that, my father was not a right father. How do I now be a better man? Until you call yourself to a meeting, will never change. There are so many materials out there. No one is perfect. But at least these are people I can point to when I am referring somebody to be, to educate themselves, to school themselves into fatherhood. Dr. Miles Monroe, this guy has rich information. If you cannot read a book, listen to his podcast. Listen to his sermons on YouTube. Somebody like Steve Harvey. There are so many people who say bad things about Steve Harvey, but I find that man to be very wise. Men and young boys should follow him, follow his example. After you finish watching this video, if at all you happen to watch this video, go and follow Steve Harvey. Listen to his podcast. He will not only make you a better father, but he will also make you a better human being in terms of self-realization, self-growth, and self-development. Somebody like Barack Obama. These are people that you should associate yourself with. Yeah? Get wisdom. Tap into their blessing. And there are so many other people that I did not mention. People who have made mistake and they have called themselves to order and started their life and they are on a straight path. Those are the people you should follow. Don't just follow people who have made mistake and remain there. I want to say somebody who has made mistake and corrected their mistakes and has made a better life for themselves. Get knowledge, be schooled. The Bible has the best type of love. You will never go astray if you follow God, if you follow Jesus. This is for the Christian. Be present. Don't just be present physically, but be present emotionally. Connect with your wife. Teach your children. Be involved in their activities, school activities, life events, birthdays, whatever. Hang out with your children. Another thing that most of us don't do as Africans and probably as South Sudanese, show affection to your wife in the presence of your children. When you do that, you are teaching your boys, you're teaching your daughters how to be affectionate with their partners in future. The next thing is balancing love and independence. Love your family. When you love, don't just love, but say it and do it. Yeah? Be independent. Take decision. Tell your wife. Give them that assurance that, hey, Annie, at one point I might go astray, but I want you to know, no matter what happens, you still remain number one. I want to use the example of Davido and Chioma. They have just married recently. So many people say negative things. But you know, I am one person who is very proud of what they have done. These guys have gone through a lot. Davido made a lot of mistakes. And probably he might make more mistakes. But one beautiful thing, if you look at their function, their wedding, and everything, and their journey throughout, Davido not only say that he loves Chioma, but he is giving assurance. When he lied down in the presence of the father and mother of Chioma, that was big. To me, that is more than assurance. If he is able to lie down with his caliber as one of the greatest musicians worldwide, not only Nigeria, he lies down in front of common people. That is a symbol of assurance. No matter what Davido will do, that lady will be there. People are saying he has hurt this girl emotionally. Yes, he was involved in certain things. He has done that. But he constantly apologizes. He constantly assures this girl, this lady, that he is in love with this lady forever. His body language says it. The way he treats that lady in public says it. I would not support this guy if he is mistreating this lady in any way. You know, you can mistreat somebody psychologically and emotionally. He has done bad things that would make anybody walk away. But the reason why that lady remains there is the fact that Davido treated this lady better than any of the women that were involved in his life. So as a man, don't just love, show it. Give that assurance to your family members. Show affection. Love and independence. Take lead. Make decisions. Put your foot down and say, this is how we are going. We are not going like this, we are going like this. Sometimes as women, we want this man who will take charge. So you need to learn to do that. Be the man in that house. Take lead in ensuring that things are done. Follow up. School. Find out, is your wife okay with the way things are nowadays? Yes, you will be absent. You will be hustling. But God has helped us with technology. You can leave a message. You can't tell me that you go the whole day, you don't go to the toilet, or you don't drink, or you don't eat. If you can do that, you can reach your wife. One message. Honey, I love you. That's enough. That keeps her going. Communicate, and you will keep your marriage. You will make your family happy, and you will keep your family in a home rather than a house. The final one. A father should demonstrate peaceful and equal partnership with their spouses. Why? Because children, specifically boys, observe what their fathers are doing. If a boy grows up in a home where a father shows responsibility with their wives and participate in certain activities, that's exactly what he will grow to do in his adulthood. So it is very important that we lead by example as fathers and as mothers, because what we do is paramount in the growth and development of our children. So basically, that is it that I would like to share with you today. If you find my content of value to you, please do share with your friends, like, share, and leave your comment in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts, what you think, your perception, whether you agree or disagree with some of the points that I've raised in this video. All in all, I would like you to remember that fatherhood is not about biological ties, but rather nurturing, guiding, and leaving a positive legacy. Let's all encourage fathers to be present, intentional, and impactful in our homes, society at large. Until then, bye-bye.